Welcome on in, Monday edition WagerTalk Today, your sports center for gamblers. We got it coming right here your way. That's right, Dan Alexander in the driver's seat for you today as our man, our fearless leader, Andy Lang, a little under the weather. So, Andy, we're sending out our hearts to you, buddy. You're going to feel better. He'll be back, folks. But for the meantime, we got plenty to get into here on a Monday. Conference championships loom. So how should we be betting that? We're going to talk to Yanni, see how his power rankings are creeping in and how it relates to Selection Sunday that's just a few weeks away from now. So, folks, we're going to talk a lot of college basketball here on the show. Yanni the Greek going to kick it off for us. Coming up after him, the resounding return of our man, Bill Krackomberger. That's right, Bill Crackman. He's coming back. Why was he gone last week? You'll find out. We'll also get an NBA player prop from him. Talk some market stuff as well with our man, Bill Krackomberger. And then we're going to shut it down with one of our favorites here, folks. Steve Merril is coming on. He's got three free plays for you. He's going to talk 2 games in college basketball action. That's Duke and NC State that I know you want to play on. And we're also going to talk Iowa State and Arizona. So 2 of the biggest games in recent memory here in this college basketball season. Steve's going to give you a play on each of them, the doubleheader on ESPN. Clippers and Warriors also coming your way, a play. And financially free and focused, the madness certainly is here. And even that's right, Frank, when Andy isn't with us as we do the show here on a Monday, he's still cashing tickets for us. Top 20, second place overall. That's what we call a no sweat rocking chair winner from our man, Andy Lang. All right, guys, let's get into it. Keep those comments coming. If you haven't already, hit that like button while you're hanging out with us here. And if you haven't subscribed, I don't know what the hell you're doing because you get a notification anytime we go live. We also got some great deals coming your way, but let's bring him in. Yanni the Greek gambler. Buddy, how was the weekend for you? I know that crazy UFC card we talked about was freaking landmine after landmine, but as we reset, start a new week here on a Monday, how you feeling heading into the week, brother?
Amazing, man. I had a great weekend. Crushed it in college basketball once again. Hit my 5%. Another dog that I said the wrong team is favored. And, of course, they got there for us outright in that Baylor Central Florida game. And UFC, I did well also. One disappointment, a split decision cost me over $4,000. That one bad split decision, Chires and Bunez. I gave Bunez to my subscribers at like plus 275 as a 3% play. So I had 3 dimes on them and had them in a parlay and stuff. So it cost me just a lot of money. But overall, it was an amazing, amazing weekend. And more importantly, we are going into college basketball in like really, really good shape. Power ratings are on point. The results reflect that. Right now, I'm up over 66 units in college basketball for the season, almost a 5% ROI, number 1 combined NBA and college basketball, number 1 MMA right now, number 1 NHL right now. So we are kicking ass. And I said 2026 was going to be a record-breaking year. So far, so good. Don't want to keep going long. For that few minutes that you stuck around, I'm going to give you 2 free plays real quickly. Both in soccer, both are premium plays. So let me get them to you guys real quickly. The first one is in Scotland. Total Ayr United, AYR United. Look at that game. We're going under 2.5. That's a 3% play. And then in Brazil, Flamengo against Madura. Just look for Flamengo. We're going over 2.5 in that game. That one's a 4% play. So you have 2 soccer bets already in there. And the Steam Sheet's got an NHL bet that we were able to isolate. Lot more NHL plays also. They're really attacking the NHL, and it's hard to pick off what's sharp. If you look at today's Steam Sheet and look at what the NHL sharp plays are, and then look at the board, you're going to be like, wow. But when you click the odds logic screen and you see where that line moved, you'll be like, damn, that's where they hit it. So you'll see how the line dropped, then they went in, then it moved up. Like, it's really cool if you're following those line movements. But getting back to college basketball, that you touched on. We have number 1 Duke playing tonight against unranked NC State, and we have Iowa State and Arizona. Now, according to the AP poll, they have Iowa State number 4, Arizona number 2. Nothing could be further from the truth. I have Iowa State number 12. I have Arizona number 4. I make actually Arizona. Yeah, that's the problem, man. They jacked them up, or I would say look to bet Arizona in this spot. But obviously the market reflects that because I made them 8 and it was 7. Now it's up to 7.5. So probably not much line value there unless you like the handicap. And I also like the game over. It's getting hit right now. That would have been on the Steam sheet had I not been waiting right now to jump on, because they just hit over 147.5, 148, Arizona and Iowa State. And that one actually supported by my power ratings, which have that game pegged at 152. And then in Duke and NC State, that line's right on point. I made Duke a 9.5 point favorite and 148's the total. And that's exactly what I'm looking at right now. So unless any of the groups I work with come in really strong on either of those games, we probably won't be firing premiums there because they just did a real good job of pricing them, bro. That's, sometimes they're going to do that. And that's what we're looking at so far.
Dude, I'll tell you what, filling in here for Andy, you make my job really damn easy, VR, because you just hit a hell of a lot of stuff there. Just real quick for the soccer games, just in case people missed out on those, he gave you 2 client plays. That's one that's in the Scottish League, and it's AYR is what you're looking
United,
for. And that's, so when we're going under in the Scottish Championship, correct? That's
under 2.5. Yes, sir.
And that's Arbarath versus Ayr. So I got that one in there. And then in the Brazil League is where we're going over, and that's Flamengo, Flamengo versus Cruzeiro. And that one we're going over 2.5, correct?
Over 2.5, correct.
All right, cool. Correct. All right, so I got your back there, folks. That's how you search for those ones. VR, you kind of touched upon the 2 games tonight that are absolutely huge. Steve has free plays coming up in those. But one thing that people really look forward to when we have you on here is how these power rankings, play out. And obviously that's how you see those matches. Not really much of an edge. The odds are factored in. So as we sit here on a Monday, heading on in, conference championships are right around the corner here. So there's going to be these tournaments that are going down. As you're heading into that, are there any big outliers for you? When you look at your list of power rankings, and maybe even just give us what the top 10 is, what's a team that maybe is getting way overrated and a team that's getting way underrated as we head in? Just talk about the power ranking specifically, not even just game specific.
I love the question. And this is where you're going to get the most gold from. Here's my top 10. Write down my top 10. Duke, Houston, Florida, Arizona, Michigan, Gonzaga, Purdue, Alabama, Illinois, and Tennessee. Those are my top 10. Now, what I like seeing as slowly but surely, the AP is coming around. And let me share with you what I'm talking about. Last week, the AP had Duke number 4. I had him number 1. Now we're close. We're number 1 and number 1. Okay. Last week I had Florida. All right. I had Florida at number 4. They had Florida at number 13, 14. Now all of a sudden Florida's up to number 7, getting closer to what my number had them. Gonzaga. I had Gonzaga number 6. They had Gonzaga number 12. Now you look up, Gonzaga's number 9, slowly moving towards what I was talking about. These are much better teams than their number reflects. On the flip side of that, I talked about St. Louis. Nowhere, not even in my top 30. Where did they have St. Louis? 17th. St. Louis is now out of their top 20 also. Who else? Vanderbilt. They had Vanderbilt as the 19th best team in the country. I said not even in my top 30. Now they're out of their top 20 as well. Clemson was their 20th best team. Not even in my top 30. Clemson's now nowhere in their rankings either. So I love when I start seeing that the season is progressing towards exactly what my man's power ratings show. They're not going to be perfect, but he's going to get a lot more right than wrong. And that's going to uncover so much value for us. Now, a couple of those overvalued, undervalued teams I'm going to share right now. Undervalued. Gonzaga, few are as undervalued as Gonzaga right now. They're going to be a top 5 team. Alabama, I talked about Alabama. Alabama's now number 8 for me. I'm not even sure they're ranked in the AP. So Alabama's another team. Where else are we? Tennessee, finally, they're giving Tennessee some kind of respect. Tennessee's a top 10 team, and overvalued teams that they think are a lot better than I do. Number 1, start off obviously with Nebraska. We talked about Nebraska, how they're slowly dropping. They were 6th last week, 10th this week, and they're going to drop some more because they're not even in my top 20. Another team, Kansas finally dropping down to where they should be. Kansas was 8th last week, 9th last week, 14th this week. I have them 13th. So Kansas is getting back to where they should be. North Carolina, overvalued. They got them 11th last week, 18th this week. They're not even in the top 20. So UNC, overvalued. Another overvalued team. Virginia, another overvalued team. They have them 11th right now, 11th, barely in my top 20, that Virginia team. And last but not least, who else do we have? Oh, we talked about Iowa State, how they have them as a top 5 team, and I have them out of my top 10. So that's exactly where we find our value in college basketball, in NBA, in NHL, in college football, NFL. Like I talked about in Bet On It with Marco and Kelly all year. I have my own numbers for the games, my side and my total. This is what I think the game should be based on my power ratings. As steam comes in, if it confirms, we fire. If it's opposite, I have a decision to make. And that's pretty much how I do it. And so far, so good, man. And I urge all guys that are breaking in, that are trying to become winning sports bettors, to try doing that, even with just the teams that they know or the sports that they follow most. Compare a line before you look up. Like before you even looked at Duke, NC State, before you even looked at Iowa State, Arizona. Like if you're betting college basketball in 2026, you already have an opinion on Arizona and Iowa State. You should already have in your mind, where's the game played at Arizona State? What's their home court advantage? Okay. How much better is one team than another? This is what I think the line should be. You should already have that, so you have something to compare. You don't go into a car dealership without having an idea what the car's worth, right? Because they're going to tell you 80,000. You don't know if it's worth 50 or 120. You got to have your own price when you're going to any kind of market. If you're going to buy Bitcoin, you're going to buy Tesla, you need to have an idea at what price do I want to get in at. And with games, do the same thing. Create your own line. Now you have something to compare. So that's how I work with these power ratings. So far, so good.
Yeah, and I mean, the proof is in the pudding, like you said, absolutely rolling here in college basketball. Guys, obviously, we give you the picks here on the show, but a segment like that is worth its weight in gold, guys. So go back, clip that, rewind it. Don't worry, we got a timestamp for you. VR breaking down his power rankings that's relative to its standing here today, who he thinks is overvalued, he thinks is undervalued. I couldn't think of a better way to kick off the week here, VR. Brother, you gave them so much good shit here today. They need to head over to wt.buzz/VR. What do you got rocking? You already gave away 2 client plays here.
Yes, sir.
So obviously, folks, the soccer plays he's already given out here. But what do you got rocking over at your page, brother?
Steam sheet is up. The Steam sheet is up with NBA, college basketball, and NHL. The premium play is an NHL best bet. I believe we're 7-2 over the last 9 on the Steam sheet. So I'm very selective what I put out on those. But there's stuff in there for you guys to handicap. I'll be adding throughout the day. If I'm able to confirm any premiums, I'll put a package together. Otherwise, subscribers, you'll be getting stuff. Anyone that's partnered with me for 2026, you already know the game plan. We discussed it on Saturday in the Steam room. We should keep going to 400. That's the goal, 400. That's when we double our bankroll. So goal 400, and then we reassess. Until then, keep the head down, keep grinding. Thanks for having me on. Best of luck this week. Let's turn in another profitable 7 days.
Always a pleasure, man. No way a better way to start off, obviously, the week here than those breakdowns there, guys. Like I said, we timestamp these episodes. So, if you want to go back, you want to watch and rewatch and take a little notes there on who we're seeing value and maybe some overvalued options here. Great stuff there from VR. Got a question here from Steve. There's one game on the docket today. I don't like it enough to bet it. Over the weekend, we ended up going, I believe, 3-1 with our lacrosse plays. We gave you that free winner on Friday, another fading Syracuse angle, and we got it home, folks. Another outright dog for you here with Princeton beating Syracuse. So there will be more action coming. Don't worry. This Thursday, I think we'll have a play that we like in the PLL Championship Series. So appreciate it. And yes, you got to keep your head up. Keep your head down while you're grinding, but keep your head up when things aren't going quite right. All right, guys, let's bring in our favorite. Another great way to kick off a Monday. Bill Krackomberger in the house. Bill, we missed you last week, buddy. The comments were saying, where's our man Crack? So now we got Monday with Crack, man. How was the week off? I know you didn't have any time off, but but it's good to see you.
I was traveling. I was down in Florida. I was cashing tickets at the Hard Rock. I had some futures bets that I wanted to get cash from NFL season, and I was down there in December and bet a lot of props one weekend, and I just had a lot of tickets I wanted to get cashed in and maybe get some more. I actually did find a baseball bet down there. As a matter of fact, when I came back, I have been running around like crazy, just betting and betting and betting already. Usually I don't. Baseball futures are normally I'm not betting in the middle of February. I was betting in them literally the last 2 weeks. So up at WagerTalk, we have that up there for you. Some great season wins. And when I say that, guys, it's a way to bet and have action all year long. But I don't do it for that. I do it because I have a mathematical edge. I have destroyed regular season wins over the years, especially in baseball. Some really good stuff up there. I think we have a package of at least four. I only bet five, so at least four of them. I think we given away. No, actually, we did. We gave away five. I'll give you guys a free one here. Actually, the first one we gave was the only reason why I'm saying I give you a free one here, because I don't see this number really moving. As a matter of fact, let me check again. It's amazing that I actually went over to MGM and bet this, but I never give out a stale line to anybody. So yeah, MGM, I bet a lot of money on it. I was shocked they did not move. It seems like MGM, out of all the books I play, if I play something at Circa or Westgate, oh God, they overmove the lines. And I understand, I actually would overmove and try to get customers on the other side. But MGM, let me just see what it's unbelievable. I cannot believe the Astros is. So I know you guys probably can't. This is MGM. There's the Astros right there. It's still 86.5 at MGM. I bet under, just to let you guys know. I bet under, and it's still available there. So just to see that, and just to let you know, I put my money where my mouth is. There is a copy of my ticket after betting 5,000. You think they would? I'm pretty shocked. I can't believe they wouldn't move that. So, yeah, but I say I'm pretty shocked. The reason why I'm giving that freebie out to the customers, I'll tell you why. The Astros is one of those teams. Listen, they're not the Dodgers, they're not the Yankees. They're not going to be getting all that volume that the Dodgers and Yankees people give the sports books. However, the Astros people love to bet overs on. The Astros typically in the playoffs, World Series team, playoff team. So people like betting over. It's possible that over there at MGM, they just say, hey, people are going to come in on the over, and we're going to leave it alone. Matter of fact, MGM was the only place. Yeah, they're the only place that has the Dodgers at 103.5 too. I didn't bet that yet. I was kind of thinking some square books would have 103.5. I'm seeing 102.5. I even see 103 flat. But it's hard for a team to win 104 games. Matter of fact, there's a bet at DraftKings. Of course, I can't bet that here in Las Vegas. There's a bet available at DraftKings. Will any team win 104.5? It's actually unbelievable that will any team win 104.5 or more? So now you're rooting against any team in baseball to win 105. You're laying $1.05 on the under. Unfortunately, for me, living in Las Vegas, I can't bet DraftKings.
Yeah.
And even if I was over there at Foxwoods, when I got off air at VSiN, I said something bad about. I guess I said something bad. I talk good and bad about all the companies, and
You
I
just tell
was
the truth.
I was talking about DraftKings, their rule where if a starting running back gets taken out of the game and he doesn't start, if you have a backup running back over, they have an option to cancel your ticket. And I said, that's horrible. The idea is us doing the research of finding out that, reading the beat reporter stuff, and they put that out there to all their customers saying we have a right to cancel your bets if a starter goes down. So I
Oh.
just talked about it on VSiN, and I got a call. I get off of VSiN at 10 o'clock. At 10:01, my phone rings. It's my host from a casino. He's like, hey, DraftKings just called me and told me to get a hold of you and say you're not allowed to bet more than $250 at our property now. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, they listen to me. So their office over on Durango, they listen
For
to what I
literally
was saying.
pointing out, it's like, dude, what do
I'm
we do?
saying
This
it's
is
a
like,
bad rule.
yeah.
And
You
to
didn't
be
even
honest
say,
with
hey,
you,
go hammer this book. You didn't even say, hey, they have a
No,
stale line. All you said was, hey, I think this rule is kind of bullshit, which it is.
yeah, but
You
but I
know?
talked. Let me, Dan. I talk good and bad about the book. So I said, hey,
I hear it.
DraftKings, they were taking $1,000 at resorts in Atlantic City from me. They were taking $2,000 at Foxwoods. That's the DraftKings office. And they were very good to me. I beat them for a hell of a lot of money. They were very, very good to me on some futures and stuff. They were very good. I talked, and then I just talked about the rule they had. I thought it was bad. I didn't go after them with vile. I didn't, I just said, this is ridiculous, because how can you bet an NFL prop on a secondary running back? And if the starting running back doesn't play, if he's questionable, now they could say, hey, the line on the backup running back was only 23 and a half, and now it's 35 and a half. Yeah, no good. We cancel your over bet. Like, I just thought it was bad, and they called me and right after and said, I'm not welcome basically to bet more than 200. I'm not allowed to bet on the app. You can bet $10. Like a lot of people get limited. Dan, number
Yeah.
one problem in this, if you ask me, the number one problem in this industry, it's that people in risk, not their bosses, not the management, not especially not in the board of directors and the big CEOs, they don't know anything about this. People in risk limit or throw out squares. Guys
Well,
that
and here's what I can tell you, Bill. It's
yeah,
so funny that you said that because,
yeah,
and not to besmirch anyone, but you were just talking about that Astros under, right? So
yeah,
what was I doing? You were talking. I go over to BetMGM. I go to
yeah,
I'm not a big time bettor. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I'm what would be described as a public bettor.
Hmm.
This is what I do.
Yeah,
Obviously I do it to build my bankroll. I do it in a professional sense, but I'm a square. I'm a professional, or I'm a public guy. So I
yeah,
took your under. They were posting 86 and a half. I just went to go throw $50 on it. This was my
yeah,
approved stake. I don't know if you could see it. You probably can't. It was
yeah.
$6. I was
What
able
did
to
you
put
do over there?
$6.79.
Now that I'm guessing that these sports books that do this, the reason is maybe like a Gianni or myself throughout the year gave you a play or gave someone a
Or
play that was
someone's
a
beard in their account or
that was a
something,
major line move or something, and it moved instantly, and but that is our goal, is to beat the lines and get ahead of them. So
Yeah.
um it's someone. Sometimes though, this is what happens, not sometimes, more often than not, someone in risk that's working there will just say, "Frig this guy. He beat us on a soccer play last week. I'm limited," and they don't have to even put their name in there or who did it. No one even knows who did it. Just someone in risk says they're not beating us on my shift, and then I'll go to the directors or I'll go to someone up top that I know, and they are furious that this happens.
Yeah.
Furious because
Like they don't even know, because
they
they're
don't
like,
even
I ain't
know.
losing my job over this shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
So
the
it's
higher
someone.
ups don't even know what's going
It's
on. That's
someone that's in
interesting.
risk, making $25 an hour. He just get mad that people are betting on his shift. Just
Yeah.
I'm using the word betting. Just betting. They're doing so. This guy, his job is to take bets, but he doesn't want to take bets. This goes for many sports books, even in this town. Absolutely crazy that this
Yeah.
happens. Now it just so happens that I know someone high up, and I'll tell him, hey, this happened, and this guy is the director. There's nobody higher. He's the director. He's the head of all the risk guys. He has, 55 employees. He says, "What? What do you mean?" And he, and he's like, I wish I knew who's doing this at my company. I wish I knew who
Yeah.
actually did it at what time, so I could say. But he'll go into meetings and say, "Hey guys, our job is to take volume, 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 and you guys, someone is turning off Joe Public's accounts and limiting them to pennies." And it's out of control, and it's literally a blanket statement across the entire industry.
Yep.
But yeah, they should develop some kind of software where it says, if you work there, Dan Alexander,
Yeah,
put
like
this
their
note
their
in,
employee ID number or whatever.
employer ID number, limited to $10. And then you'll find out why.
Just stand by it. Stand by
Someone
it.
can
If
go
you
to
make
them and
if
say,
you make
"Hey,
the decision, stand by it.
yeah, yeah, no." My big thing is you shouldn't even do that. Just hire people like we hire people. I have a payroll. I have a payroll every single month that I pay people to literally get my information. There's, we have a guy that does, all he does is read. So he reads all the scouting reports. He reads all the beat reporters. Why can't DraftKings and the big companies, why can't they just hire someone, for 25 bucks an hour to
Because Bill,
read?
the difference is, Bill, you're not beholden to shareholders. You're beholden to Bill Krackomberger. That's the difference there, man. And good question here from our man Jeffrey, because obviously, hey folks, Crack already gave you out a free play in some MLB future action. If you want his other ones, go head on over to his page to get it. But he gave you a Houston Astros under, looking to fade the Astros this year. We got Jeffrey asking, any NBA props tonight? Mondays, we always like grabbing a prop from you, man. Anything you fire in on is what already this morning?
And props are doing really good, up over 20 units on the season. NBA props, 20.4 units. Let's go Jokic over 10.5 assists. Just want to make sure the line exists. Minus 120. Okay, that's versus the Jazz. In a back-to-back situation after a tough game versus the Timberwolves here last night, he should be a little more passive. It's funny, I had him over points yesterday, over 29 and a half, 28 and a half, and 29 and a half. He had 35, but yet I leaned to the dog in that game. I usually don't do NBA games. It's kind of hard to win both, but I did actually. So again, the Jazz, they just don't have a good center to really guard him.
Not have a good anything since they're in tank mode.
Yeah, the Joker should hit this number, I think, by the third quarter. He might not play if it's a fourth quarter, if it's a blowout, though.
And that's rebounds again, Bill, right?
Yeah. Oh, assist.
Oh, assists.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Joker
Sorry, I
over
misheard you there. So we're looking at Jokic assists heading over, looking to dish the rock a little bit there.
So Dan, I put out a tweet yesterday on Twitter, and I'll get these once in a while. I've had, if I had to go by my top tweets, I've had one that was 14 million. I've had at least half a dozen up to 5 million. But so yesterday I put, and by the way, it's at Bill Crackman on Twitter, BillKrackman. So I put a tweet out on Twitter last night. It was just a photo when I was down in Florida of the inside of one of the machines. There's an arrow there pointing. 83.9%, 83.96 payback percentage, the payback percentage of the machine. And I listen, people say, well, you're supposed to take a photo. Listen, the machine was open, it was right next to me. I just snapped the photo. I know that I said the word motherboard, but it's not a motherboard, but it's, the listings of everything that goes on inside the machine. So I took a photo of that, and I was shocked when I zoomed in on it and seen 83.96. I mean, they are just hitting everyone over the head with a hammer and stealing your money down there in Florida. 83.96. Anyway, over 1.3 million views on this one so far, 836 comments. And now I want to read it to you. The reason why I said this is a recent photo of the inside motherboard of a slot machine. The casinos are squeezing the public and making the RTP, which is the return to player, on the machines lower and lower. This machine, 83.96. You almost have no chance of winning this on a machine this low. Every single time you push the button, you lose 45 cents on every $3. 500 spins per hour, 500 spins, $225 an hour. So I said they're draining our pockets. I wanted to show people how bad some of the machine payouts are on penny machines. The responses, comical, absolutely comical. I did not expect that.
What were they saying?
Oh my God, is 836 so far? Half of them are attacking me. They're saying to me, and I'm trying to tell people how, just show them. That's what I do. Listen, I'm unfiltered. I'll go after casinos and sports books if I feel they're not doing the public right, or if they're not trying to be fair. So I put these things up there, and people were saying, "You didn't know this? Are you new to gambling? You don't realize that?" And some people said, "Every game in the casino is 84%." Like they have no clue. They don't know. Like they don't know that blackjack's 1.5% or whatever. Whatever. Video poker could be 0.5%. They don't know anything. They just love to respond because they're under anonymity and talking about gambling. But some of the responses were like, "This is the reason why you should never gamble." But the responses that came after me were more funny. I tell you, people were saying like, "Oh yeah, thanks for sharing this, genius. Welcome to the world." Like, I mean, like, and other people were saying, "This is why you can't gamble. The machines are fixed." No one's saying that things are fixed. I'm just saying fixed is the biggest thing now because of these recent NBA idiots that have fixed their props and the poker games. So now everyone thinks everything. If they lose, no matter what, it couldn't be because of their intelligence level and them just going overboard and closet gambling. And it has to be something was fixed. I'm supposed to win. I won Monopoly with my father and checkers when I was a kid. I could beat this. It really is funny though. But I like this response from one of the guys though. Ice Goon, who's been around a long time. 2019, I beat cancer. I'm really great guy. Somewhere out there, Bob Stupak and Benny Binion are rolling in their graves. Vegas hotels, casinos should give everyone KY jelly when they enter to minimize the pain when this gets shoved up your playing these odds expecting to win. But the reason why I'm saying Bob Stupak and Benny Binion, Benny Binion's philosophy was give them a good drink, a good gamble, good meal, show them a good time, and they'll always be loyal and come back to you. Bob Stupak, he was Vegas World and the Stratosphere. He came in. I got to meet him a couple of times. I know his son gave people a good gamble, gave them some good deals. Come in town. We're going to pick up this for you. We promise you, we're going to for like $300, including your airfare. This was back when I was reading the old TV guides. He would bring people in and say, "All right, it's $300. I'll pay for your airfare and everything. You stay at our casino. You put $2,000 in the cage, and you get your $300 back." It was just good deals and stuff. But I know I can go off on tangents on all different things, Dan. I'm glad I got to share some time with you, talk about a couple things on my Twitter, and talk about some baseball. I wasn't even planning to give out the baseball future. The reason why,
hey, we'll take it.
You may get a better price on that even towards the season when it starts, because people love betting the Astros over. Listen,
Yep.
I just showed you I bet 5,000 at NGM, and I just showed you the ticket, and they still haven't moved the line 86.5. So
yeah,
there you have it.
Bill, always a pleasure, man. Thank you so much. We were very happy to have you back, man. We'll see you next Monday, and best of luck until then, brother.
Thanks, guys. Thanks everyone for listening.
Appreciate you. That's Bill Krackomberger, Bill Crackman on Twitter. That's right. Real quick, guys, Steve Merrill coming on here in just a few minutes. We're going to talk 3 basketball games for you. 2 on the hardwood going in college basketball game tonight. The questions you've been asking all chat long about that Duke NC State game. Steve's going to answer those questions for you. But you saw Yanni there at the top, and you saw Crackman at the top. Like, these are 2 men who are institutions in Las Vegas. And another one we have on roster over at WagerTalk.com is Las Vegas Chris. He couldn't be called Las Vegas Chris if he wasn't an institution there. Great deal going right now, folks, where 30 days you can get a combo of these guys, Yanni, Crackman, LVC. And not only do you get that, we're also throwing in 30 days of all access here to Odds Logic. And if you never used Odds Logic before, folks, here, I'll pull it up here and show you on the screen of what we're looking at here. This is just an incredible tool that so much of us use when we have, the access to it. But you see here, it's giving you all across. You can choose what these books are right here at the top. So the ones that I have up, I like having some Vegas books up. So I got South Point, I got Circa, and I got the Super Book. And then the other ones that I have up, I like some global market kind of stuff. And then I obviously do the ones that I can bet at, which is, a FanDuel, a DraftKings. It tells you the current line, so you can always be making sure you're getting the best bet. It's also telling you an amount or, a combination of what you're getting on ticket splits, on money splits. So this odds logic tool is worth its weight in gold alone. You can try it out for 30 days for free, adding on to all access with these guys. So that's at any of their pages, wt.buzz/VR, Crackman, or LVC is where you can get any one of those. So info for that deal is on their page, but check that out, folks. Highly suggest that for sure. And with no further ado, let's shut it down with one of our faves here. Steve Merrill in the house. Andy's under the weather. So when Andy's away, I'll play, Steve. We've been hitting everything. We've been getting, we got 2 soccer plays out of Yanni. I was able to squeeze a future out of Bill. So how you doing today on this Monday, man? People are excited you're on, brother.
Yeah, as I say, you're not going to get any soccer out of me, and haven't really looked at too much baseball yet. But we are definitely locked into basketball, like you said, and we got some good games. Yeah, it's funny. Last week, Dan, the only 2 games in the rotation were the 2 ESPN games. We did the hit here, and I think that video got over 9,000 views, which doubled any of the other free play videos that week. So people definitely like the standalone Monday games, the big Monday ESPN games for sure.
Well, Steve, let's we'll circle back some other stuff I want to kick around with you, but let's get into those games because people have been asking about them, all show long here. So I'll turn it over to you. We'll kick off here with the Duke Blue Devils taking on the NC State Wolfpack. And I'm looking on my odds logic screen. We're seeing 9.5 painted. The total is where I guess we're seeing a little bit more discrepancy, but it's 148.5. It's 147.5. So Duke Blue Devils, NC State Wolfpack. The other game we're going to hit, obviously, guys, this Iowa State and Arizona. But kick it off first here with the Wolfpack taking on the Blue Devils, Steve.
Yeah, Duke's a really good team. All season long I've been saying I think Michigan probably the team to beat because they're so strong down low from 2-point range, both offensively and defensively. But I did like Duke as a live dog a few Saturdays ago, and I mentioned that in my top 25 video. The other thing I mentioned in that video was the under. That was actually the official play, which did cash. And I mentioned that Michigan over, Duke under somewhat correlated. So I think this Duke team is really good. In fact, I right now would rate Michigan and Duke as the best 2 teams in the country. So this is a tough test for NC State here, but it is a live home dog here. It's a feisty NC State team that could definitely hang this evening. Not necessarily asking him to win the game outright, but at 19-10 straight up, 10-6 in the conference, can they do enough to keep this game close? Only time they've met this season as well. So it's the first meeting here. And NC State comes in losing 4 of their last 5, including an overtime loss against Notre Dame on the road Saturday. Quick turnaround return home. So not a great setup for that reason. Duke, meanwhile, comes in here 27-2 now, 15-1 in the conference. And keep in mind, their only 2 losses this year, this is how good they are, was a neutral court loss against Texas Tech by a single point, and then also a 3-point road loss at North Carolina just under a month ago in early February. Really strong team and excellent current form. And there's been no letdown since that Michigan win, that upset win 2 Saturdays ago. They came back and beat Notre Dame by 44 and then beat Virginia by 26. Really impressive win against UVA. And they've got that big revenge look-ahead game this Saturday, by the way, to finish the regular season against North Carolina. So possibly a little bit of a flat spot, even though it's a national TV game here for Duke. One thing I'll point out is both teams take a lot of 3-point shots and both defenses give up a lot of threes. So instead of trying to guess which side's more focused, which one might have the letdown, let's look at the total here. And I like the over. Both teams give up a high percentage of shots from 3-point range. In fact, both allow over 45% of their opponents' total field goal attempts to come from 3-point range. And both these teams take right around 45% of their shots on offense from 3-point range. Now, 3-point shots are tough to predict. I get that. And Duke does have the much better 3-point defense. So I'd probably lean towards Duke minus the 9.5. I made the line only about 8, though. So it's a little inflated. That's why I'm staying away from the side. But I do like the over in this game, over 148. And some of the sharper books have gone up to 148.5. Take a look at this NC State Duke game, up and over 148, 148.5. That's your ESPN game at 7 Eastern. All right, we'll look at the next game here at 9 o'clock Eastern. This is about as good as any game all season. 2 top 5 ranked teams, Iowa State and Arizona, and they're both legit. I've got Iowa State as maybe a 2/3 seed, though. So a little bit lower in my rankings. Arizona, when Arizona was number one, getting all 61 first place votes earlier this season, I was saying that Michigan, maybe even Duke, were the best teams. People kept saying, Steve, what about Arizona? And then Arizona did falter a bit in early February, back-to-back losses after that 23-0 start. But they have since bounced back strong, 4 straight wins, 14-2 in the conference, and they're getting healthier as well. A couple of their top 8 players have been out for a few games. Their 8-man rotation's looking pretty healthy now. And that showed with a blowout win against Kansas this past Saturday by 23 points. Impressive win also against Baylor before that. And this also the only time this season that these two teams meet, Iowa State and Arizona. Arizona, of course, does have home court tonight. Meanwhile, Iowa State comes in here in mediocre current form, to say the least. They've gone just 3-3 their last 6, and I thought it was a good spot for them on Saturday. I like the over in that game between Texas Tech and Iowa State. I mentioned in the video we did cash that, but I also liked Iowa State, and they lost outright as a 9-point favorite to Texas Tech. So a little bit of a bounce-back spot here for the Cyclones. So let's look at the matchup here. Iowa State gives up a lot of threes, but Arizona does not take many threes. So I think it's a decent matchup here for Iowa State for that reason. And Iowa State is the better three-point shooting team. Now, they have to, of course, hit these shots on the road, which is always dicey. But I do think they have a chance here, as they're not afraid to play fast, and that's something Arizona does extremely well. I think this game goes back and forth. Live dog here. Not going to call for the outright upset, but the 7.5 is enticing with one of the best teams in the country coming in on a focused spot off a loss. Take a look at the Iowa State Cyclones plus 7.5. That's your 9 o'clock Eastern game on ESPN. And don't forget, if you want my top plays each and every night, I do have a free play in the college hoops late night card, a 10 o'clock Eastern game for you free in college hoops, a free bonus play. And also my best bet of the night comes in the NBA. I'm number 1 all-time in NBA sides at WagerTalk in the history of the site on best bets. Having a great NBA season once again. So my top best bet tonight is in the NBA, bonus free college play. And I just gave you the 2 big Monday games here. So click subscribe, click the bell for an instant alert, and you'll never miss out when these free play videos are posted here on WagerTalk TV.
Boom. Great work there. They've been asking in the chat all show long, Steve. They were like, how are we betting these 2 games tonight? And I'm with you, man. That Iowa State-Arizona game, I'll be glued to my set for that one. I'm not really a big college basketball bettor. I'm tailing guys like you, but I am a fan of the sport for sure, and that's one that I certainly will be watching tonight. So great breakdowns there from Steve, guys. Give us a like. I mean, come on. He just gave you 2 free plays there, and he let you know how to get another free play at WT.buzz/SM. No-brainer stuff there, Steve. Real quick before we turn it to NBA and talk this Clippers and Warriors game, it's a tight game, but it's not as exciting as the 2 you just talked there, Steve, but people still want some NBA action. I just wanted to get your thoughts just overarching as we're heading on here into, the conference championships, these conference tournaments that you're seeing in college basketball. Do you have a method for how you attack these tournaments? You look maybe at some of the common opponents, some of these few, when these teams are facing off, they have familiarity with each other. Do you have a strategy heading into, these conference tournaments and these conference playoffs? Or is it just kind of, hey, I handicap it the same way as I go, week by week? Or does it change at all for you? Do you ISO in on a specific one? Just conceptually, people love seeing how the cat is skinned, how the sausage is made. How do you attack conference championship time, man?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked a lot about this, as you know, Dan, the last month or so in these February videos, especially those Saturday top 25 videos, that I love the month of February because we're in the heart of conference action. We have a lot of compare apples to apples scenarios because all teams have played 15-plus conference games, so the statistics mean a lot. Common opponents, same strength level, skill set. But I love second meetings in conference action. And later here in February, a lot of these games are second meetings. Now, the 2 tonight aren't, unfortunately, but one of the reasons I like second meetings, and now in the conference tournaments, you always get a rematch because every conference, everyone plays at least once. Back in the day, they used to always play twice, home and home. But we do get some third meetings in conference tournaments, at least a second meeting. Every game basically is a revenge spot for somebody. And I love to dig into the box scores from the previous meeting. And what we look for is misleading box scores. And the first thing that I check is 3-point percentage because that is the one real random variable, kind of like turnovers in football. 3-point shooting. Yes, some teams do it better than others, but when you have an extreme outlier one way or the other, can lead to a misleading result. Same with free throw percentage. Most teams are going to hit 68 to 72% of their free throws, right? But if one team gets to the line a lot more, but maybe misses several of them, that shows they probably had an edge down low that they can exploit if they hit the norm. So look for misleading box scores. And when you have 20, 30, 40 conference tournament games every couple of days, you can dig in and find those spots. So nothing magical. Just do your homework. But I do love getting second and third meetings, whether it's here in February or the conference tournaments in March or here in February. That was last week. We're in March. 28 days throws me off. This should be February 30th. I'm so confused.
I'm with you.
So confused, Dan.
You.
But yeah, I love digging into box
those
scores.
damn people who were born on the leap years too, man. Just really absolutely blows for them.
I mean, I know this has something to do with the Greeks or the Romans or the Latins, and I mean, nobody else watching probably knows either. But like, honestly, how do you have like I'm pretty good at math. Like, how do you have 7 or 8 months with 31 days, and you got some 30s? I get why that happens. Why do you have a 28-day month? And I'm sure I look, folks, I know ChatGPT. I know how to use Wikipedia, and I could do this. But I'm not, because we're handicapping sports here. But once again, how do you have 31 days, 30 days, and then you have a 28-day month? Makes no sense to me.
And Steve, you know, you're like me. You know, you coach sports. You know, you try and keep a calendar the best that you can. But us as husbands and men, it is not our strength keeping a calendar. And then you give me a 28-day month. I mean, come on, what the hell are we doing here, man?
Straddled by 2 31-day months. Straddled by 3 31-day months, actually, December, January, and March. So I don't know. Every month should be Steve. 30. We need more 30-day months. You could have 2 more 30-day months. No, 3 more, because you take 2 away from the 31s to make February, and then you'd have 3 more 30-day months. Almost every month would be 30. It would make the Wager Talk special so much easier. Also,
it would make it way easier. Honestly, Steve, we'd be
7 and 5, 7 and 5, because 365, 360 is 12 times 30. So we've done the math. There you go.
Comment below, Steve for president, because when you run for office, Steve, I'll be your campaign manager, and we will run on making 30-day calendars.
Thank you, because you know we always say, like, you know, Democrats and Republicans both buy sneakers, they both buy sports betting picks, so we always keep it neutral. But I honestly believe I'm a 90% candidate. Like, the stuff I'm talking about, 90% of the people would agree with me. My number one platform, besides free Coca-Cola at lunch. Oh wait, I'm not running for 8th grade president again. No, seriously, my strategy would be get rid of daylight savings, which is next week, by the way, next Sunday. That's another confusing ass calendar thing, Dan, as you know, sports included, man. And these are 90% issues, and I think 30-day months. But the Wager Talk specials would be better as well, because they're all 30-day packages. You could say you're getting all of April, you're getting all of June, all of September.
Drop the comment, Steve for president, and while you're down there, hit the like button. Let's make it happen, folks. We'll have 30-day months. We'll have no daylight savings. The world will be a better place when Steve Merrill is. By
the way, Dan, real quick on the daylight savings, there is a hitch in that I've come to realize. I think if we went to if we kept the normal time, it's actually what we're on now, which I'm not a fan of.
Yeah, no, we want more. We want
because this is standard. We're on standard time right now.
Sun to set later is where my money is.
So we need to make daylight time standard time. So we got to switch the D and the S. That might take a little bit more work, but the damn president.
Now you're going to make me. Now I'm
pretty sure the president could do that.
Steve. Yeah, you're going to make me go cross-eyed thinking about all of this.
I'm just trying not to talk about the NBA.
Yeah, let's bring it back, Steve, to something that I can actually understand, and that is that the Clippers are 1.5 basket favorites here as they're taking on the Golden State Warriors. This one going this evening, and Golden State actually opened as the favorite in this one. We're seeing some kind of split action, Steve, pretty much total 215. There's some 216s out there. So enough about daylight savings time. How are we going to be cashing in on this Clippers and Warriors game, brother?
So there are 4 NBA games on the board. 4 NBA games. Going to talk about this late Peacock game tonight at 10 Eastern. But I do like one of the earlier games tonight as a strong best bet. In fact, my best bet of the night for my client, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com, is in the NBA tonight. So go check out that. And a bonus late college basketball free play as well. But we'll talk about this late game, Clippers-Warriors, because it is a national TV matchup. On the surface, tough handicap, though. We got John Collins questionable. Darius Garland has been upgraded to available with his toe injury. They're 2 of the top 4 scorers for the Clippers. And then, of course, the Warriors have been a mess. Curry, Butler out, the top 2 scorers this season. Porzingis is questionable tonight. He's their 3rd best scorer when he plays. So Warriors have been a really tricky team to handicap here all season, especially the last few months. We'll look at current form first. Golden State's been zigzagging right now. They've entered in off of wins and losses in their last 5 games, coming off a loss to the Lakers on Saturday. Now they're playing the Clippers at home. So the 2 LA teams traveling up to the San Fran area. Defense for the Warriors has not been good. In fact, if you look over the last month or so, they're routinely giving up over 46, 47%. In fact, their last I think like 8 games, they've allowed 50% shooting or more in half of those games. And that's a real concern. And one thing I've always pointed out is that even when the stars are out, these backups can still score. Yet we've seen some substantial money coming on the under in this game. We saw some initial lines as high as 220, 221. It's now down to 215, 216 in other spots. I'm kind of liking the over now. I know a lot of this is injury-based. We'll keep an eye on the injuries. But once again, I think all the guys in the NBA can score. And I often find value playing the over with shorthanded teams. We also talk about injury situations when teams are missing a superstar suddenly, how well they do against the point spread. And you look at the Clippers, they've gone over in 4 of their last 5 games. They've lost 3 of their last 4, and they've also been shaky on defense, but their offense has been pretty good. They've shot 47% or better now in 5 of their last 6 games, but they've gone just 3-3 straight up. 5-1 against the spread. In fact, going back over the last couple of weeks, they're now 6-1, actually 7-1 against the spread the last 8. Because one of the reasons is because they have been a dog in every game but 2. They lost as a favorite to Orlando, beat the Pelicans yesterday. No rest travel spot, so I don't really fully trust the Clippers, even though they're in better current form here. Let's not try to guess on the side. Let's look at the total. I like the value now with over 215, and some of the sharper books, by the way, are starting to rise to 216 here early Monday afternoon, which makes me think this line will close higher by tonight at 10 Eastern when you watch this game on NBC Sportsnet and Peacock. By the way, you'll love how I say Prime. I think I'm going to start doing Peacock. I don't know why. It just feels right. But this is your national TV. Comment below if you watch the Peacock games and if you got it for the Olympics and then canceled it right afterwards, because that's what all great Americans do. And thumbs up, like. And we'll see more free play videos. If you know, as you know, click subscribe and click the bell as well for instant alerts.
They're already loving it. They say they dig it. It's the new Prime for you. The new.
Remember the old NBC logos over the years, the old Peacock logo? They were pretty cool, and they were very hip.
They have evolved, and now it has evolved into Peacock here for you with Steve Merril.
Almost
Steve,
did the Olympics. Almost bought it just for the Olympics, but I was getting enough on USA and NBC. And
that's exactly how it was for me too. I think I get it through my cable. I don't even know where to find it. There's too.
I don't know either. No, I think it's streaming. It's not cable, I don't think.
No, it is. It is streaming, but I was just saying, like, the streaming has gotten out of control. Remember when we were all cutting the cord to really stick it to cable companies? Dude, I would kill that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's what happens, right? It's like.
No, I remember it used to be you on video when I first started here with WagerTalk was when they started kind of doing the whole cord cutting thing. And you would ask the listeners, you'd be like, hey, is this something that you guys are into? Is this something that you guys are doing? And it's completely changed the landscape. And I would argue, Steve, you're paying a hell of a lot more. If you do like streaming TV shows, you got HBO Max, you got this. So streaming has we've jumped the shark, folks. We're spending way more than we ever were for bullshit cable.
It makes me feel good that I never cut the cord with my cable because I should have done it about 3 years ago.
Steve.
I might be coming back full circle here where I'm actually not like losing as much money as I have for the last 3 years. It's funny too. I've always had all the movie channels, didn't watch them for 20 some years because I was always watching sports, but I've been flipping around more recently, and I keep running into like 20 minutes of this movie or that movie. So I'm actually somewhat getting some value now having like the 30 movie channels. And like, I'd watch the Seinfeld, some of the videos we're doing Seinfeld comments, which by the way, are probably my favorite comments of all. The people just light those up. There again, I run into those on Comedy Central and TV Land and stuff. And someone's like, all of them are on Netflix. I was like, yeah, but it's not the same. Like I like literally randomly turning on the middle of like an episode from season 3 and enjoying it. Like I'm never going to just watch them. HBO, you talked about that. They have a drama channel. They had all the Sopranos running like a month ago, all weekend long. A Boardwalk Empire. I just pop on like the 2 episodes, like the 5th season, episode 3. I could have done that, on streaming. Yes, I'm not a streamer. I'm a dreamer, but not a streamer. I'm a dreamer, but not a streamer. Peacock.
Yeah. Isn't that Kermit the Frog song? The lovers, the streamers, and me. They're all going to be there.
That Peacock voice is a very Kermit-y voice. You're right.
Steve, you mentioned how making all the days 30 would make our deals really easy. Well, I got a great easy deal for you that started here in March, and it's one that your clients have loved, and it's where you can get all in on your access, guys. This comes out to under $4 a day. And Steve, not only are we allowing people to lock in a year, and yes, this is a long-term, this is a big commitment. I get it. But if you're looking at your daily saving and the action that you get here, folks, it's a no-brainer. And Steve, something that you've done with your clients is they also get a bonus 25% off. So talk a little bit about some of the deals that are over at your page, because this is one that people should definitely take advantage for. WT.buzz/SM. What kind of action you got rocking this week, Steve? And tell folks how they can save a little coin on it.
So somebody at customer support has learned to use AI. Let's pop that graphic up.
Oh,
again.
that's 1,000% AI.
I mean, someone has gone a little over. I'll be honest, it's a little busy. But
it hurts my eyes a bit.
I know.
But I
see a $4, and I love under $4 the sound of that, because everyone gets excited about $5 Tuesday, which is tomorrow. My favorite Tuesday of the week is $5 Tuesday. But what if we did $5 Tuesday, subtract a George Washington, we get down to $4 a day, every play for the next 365 days, sometimes 366. Next year's not a leap year, so don't worry. You're still getting 365 days. Seriously, though, everyone gets excited about a $5 play once a week. Get every best bet for the next year for under $4. And anywhere from 2 to 3 plays a day, that's like $1 something a play. That's 80% off the already 80% $5 discount. It's a great deal, but seriously, if you're taking a true investment approach, you want a long-term subscription, because you're going to get all of this year's baseball season. It starts in just a few weeks. You're going to get all of the upcoming college and pro football seasons through next year's Super Bowl. You're going to get the rest of this year's basketball, which has March Madness right around the corner, complete NBA playoffs, and then basically all the regular season next year. Great time to lock in a one-year all-access for about $1 a play. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, and get there quicker, WT.buzz/SM.
Steve, always a pleasure, buddy. Thanks for holding things down for me. And best of luck this week, man. Keep cashing those tickets, Steve.
Thanks, Dan. Talk to you soon.
Appreciate that. That's Steve Merrill, WT.buzz/SM. And don't think I forgot about you folks. That's right. These people who tuned in on Friday, and they were participating in probably the biggest spread that we've ever had in our little contest that we do. It's Teddy versus Andy, and they have to sell me on a side. I think it was 18 is what we called it, with the Celtics 18-point favorites against the Nets. Well, Celtics won in resounding fashion, and our man Luke Lacasse is our winner. He rode with Andy, laying the points there. So congratulations to you, Luke. It's already loaded onto your WagerTalk username right this moment. So you got a free 3-day flex pass. It pays to view, folks. Pays even more to comment. That's right. Comment below and let us know, guys, any of the topics that we had here on the show today. We would love to hear from you. Big thanks for tuning in, folks. The way you can say thanks to the guys, obviously head over to WagerTalk, take advantage of some of those deals that we got rocking. But a great way to do it, just comment below, guys, and tell your friends about the channel here. We'll see. Is Andy Lang back tomorrow? Well, that depends on how his stomach's feeling, folks. So let's send Andy some good vibes. Comment below. Feel better, Andy. And while you're down there, hit that like button and subscribe. Big thanks, guys. This is Dan Alexander signing off. Best of luck to you on your bets. And guys, till next time, let's make a little money. We'll see you tomorrow. WagerTalk Today.